Okay, folks, first thoughts when you hear the word midpoint. Like what comes to your mind?
Halfway point.
Halfway point. Anything else? In between. I kind of think, yes, middle, right, middle. That's what we're doing today. So we have a segment, right? And we are going to find the exact location of its middle after that page. Are we all here? Perfect. So, how do you find the middle of something? It is in between, but how would you find like the middle of something? You just know?
Divide by 2.
Divide it.
Yeah, like the average, right? You're going to take your two ends, add them up, divide by 2. That will tell you the middle. So, we kind of covered these pieces already here. Now mine is not working for me. Yikes. We'll see how notes go. Okay. So the midpoint is exactly between the endpoints of a segment. So if we look at this example here, we have segment AB, and they're telling us M is the midpoint. So that would mean this little chunk here, AM, is the same as NB. Their lengths would be the same because M's the middle. So if you wanted to be fancy and use what we did the last few days, you could put those little tick marks in there, right? So we know that those mean equal lengths, those little tick marks. And just for good measure, oh Lord, I might have to restart my smart notebook. If AM was 5, let's say it's like 5 inches, what would MB have to be?
5.
Right, they have to be the same? Okay, good, we understand that. Awesome. All right, let's try an example. It says the length of a drag racing strip is 1/4 mile. How many feet from the finish line is the midpoint of the racing strip? What are some first thoughts that come to mind here? Just in general. Yeah, it's short, it's 1/4 mile. What are we looking for?
How long are those feet?
Yeah, well, so that's something we have to talk about. I have miles and feet. So we're gonna have to do some converting there because we have different units. Should we talk about that first? A mile.
5,000 something feet.
You're close. Is how many feet? 5,000? 280. So maybe write that down. That's just good information. Like, what if everyone wants to be a millionaire? That could be like the second question. I don't know. Okay, so now we have that taken care of. 1/4 mile would be how many feet? Yeah, divide this guy by 4. Tell me what we get.
1,320.
1,320.
Yeah.
1,320 feet. So end to end, that's our racing strip. How would I find the middle? Divide by 2. You guys are good. Do it for me.
660.
Do we agree with that? Okay, it looks like I'm stuck using red ink all day, and I apologize because that's not the color I picked. Okay, good job. Let's do another one. What if we had, it says the temperature on a thermostat dropped from 25 degrees to -8. Find the midpoint of these temperatures.
So 33 divided by
33, careful. It's 25 to -8.
2. For real.
-8 plus 25.
Yeah, should we add them together? Right? That's how you find the average. You add them together and divide by 2. So 25 plus -8 is 17. 17 divided by 2 is 8.5. So that's our midpoint. Guys, I'm really sorry the smart board's so out of whack right now. Does that make sense if you just have like a linear, like on a line measure? Okay. Because now we're going to go into like if it was like on a coordinate plane, like over there that we have on that poster. So you have like an X coordinate and a Y coordinate we need to worry about. So we have a nice little formula, but really it's the same thing. You're just doing it twice. So we still have 2 ordered pairs. To find your X coordinate, you're going to add your X's, divide by 2. That will be the middle for your X. Same thing with your Y's. Add them together, divide by 2. So you guys want to write this guy where it says midpoint formula? You guys see it in your notes or it's blank? This is what you want to write. Jot that down, okay? Make sure you got the right letters in the right place. So it kind of starts off the same way we did when we were doing the distance formula. We're going to be given our endpoints of our segment, so like G and H here. Let's label as x1, y1, and x2, y2. So I'm going to go right here. x1, y1, x2, y2. Label your ordered pairs. Yep, and I'll plug them into our formula. So what did we label as x1? 8 plus, what's our,
Negative 14.
Negative 14.
yes, all over 2, and then it's a comma. This is a comma, right? We're just going to end up with an ordered pair, so it's just a comma. Now we're going to do the same thing with our y's. What's our y1? Negative 6 plus, what's our y2? 12 all over 2. Holy Hannah, this is just so crazy. Okay, now we gotta simplify. What's 8 plus negative 14? Negative 6 over 2. And then, yep, this would be 6 over 2. And your last step is to divide. So what do we end up with?
Negative 3.
Negative 3, 3. Beautiful. That's our final answer. Will you guys try that second one, and I'll give you guys a head start, and I'll come check on you. So same type of problem, just different numbers. Plug into your formula. I'm gonna erase. You guys get a final answer? Of what? Are we okay with 0.5 and 10?
Yep.
Woohoo! Good job. Okay. Next question, folks. Have you guys heard of the word bisect or bisector? Probably not. They don't have an idea of what it means. That's okay. How many wheels does a bicycle have? 2. You have bifocals on. How many lenses do you have? 2. So the prefix bi is for 2. So if I'm bisecting something, I'm cutting it into 2 equal pieces. It's like cutting it in half. So a segment bisector goes through its midpoint. Okay? So in this, like this picture over here, we actually have 4 different segment bisectors happening to PQ. Can you see if you can list as many as you can? What's intersecting PQ at its midpoint? There's 4 different ones. See if you can come up with them on your own. It could be a plane, it could be a segment, it could be a line, it could be whatever you see. There's 4 of them. See if you can list them, and then we'll go through them. What's going through the midpoint of segment PQ? So I heard someone say point M. That's one of them. Does anyone else have another one?
Plan A.
Plane A, perfect. That's another one. A third one?
Line J, M.
Yep, just because it has endpoints, it's segment JM. But yep, JM. One more.
Line K, M.
KM with a line on top. Good work, team. Perfect. Okay, flip it over. Got two more left. A little bit of algebra. So we can use the idea of a midpoint to help us find missing measures, okay? So let's see what the first one has in store for us. It says find the measure of PQ if Q is the midpoint of PR. So let's break this down just a tish. We're told that Q is the midpoint of PR, so what do I automatically know? What's the same?
PQ, QR.
Yes. You know what? Give yourself all those tick marks. Put them on there so you remember. I know those two chunks are the same because Q's in the middle. So now what's an equation I can write to help us find Y? Does that make sense, right? If this has to be the same as this, I know these two values have to be the same. So I'm going to have 9y minus 2 equals 14 plus 5y. And now you just have a linear equation. Not a big deal. I'm going to take care of my y's first. Is that all right? Subtract 5 over to get 4y. Objections to y being equal to 4.
No.
Okay. But did we answer the question?
Yeah.
No.
You gotta plug in, right? We want PQ. I'm gonna do my PQ right here because I'm running out of space. Tell me what you get, folks.
34.
34, right? This would be 36 minus 2, so 34. So PQ is 34. Perfect. Fantastic. Okay, last one. It says find the value of x if C is the midpoint of segment AB, AC equals 4x plus 5, and AB equals 78. What would be a good place to start? Like where? You guys, I'm so proud. Yes, draw a picture because this one's giving you different information than the last one. So start off by giving yourself a picture. Make sure you label the right things in the right spots. Because did you guys notice that they gave you the length? Of the whole thing. So it's a little bit different than the last one. Are they the exact same?
Yeah, C's the midpoint.
C's the midpoint, right? So I know these guys are the same, but what's an equation I can write to equate these guys?
78 equals 4x plus 5.
But 78's the whole thing.
Or 8x plus 10.
So there's two ways to do it that way. We could double this, set it equal to 78, or what's half of 78? A little less than 50.
39.
39. I would know that these chunks have to equal 39. So you do whatever way your heart wants. You could set 4x plus 5 equal to 39. That's one way. I'll put the other way over here because I'm running out of space. Or double this guy and set it equal to 78. Whatever works for you works for me. Okay? Since this is on the board, I'll just solve it this way. Yeah, is it okay if we get a decimal?
Yeah.
Yeah, what are we getting?
8.1.
Yeah, 8.5. Good work, team. Good job. We'll finish notes tomorrow. If I'm gonna do one example with you though on this homework, because we didn't have an example like that in our notes. Yeah. It's okay. Perfect. I'll get it in the book today. Can you guys look at the bottom of the first or the front? Can we do one of those together? Because we didn't have one of those examples in our notes. It looks like one of these guys. So this one says find the coordinates of the missing endpoint if B is the midpoint of AC. So how it's different, you're given one endpoint, the midpoint, and you're looking for the missing endpoint, okay? So let's start with a picture on this one. I like to do it vertically. So I'm gonna draw my segment like this. And then I'm gonna label it. I'm gonna put A right there, B is my midpoint, and here C. Okay. Now I'm gonna label my ordered pairs that they give me. 1, 7, -3, 1. So right now we're looking for where C is at. And don't overthink it. Think AB is the same length as BC. They have to be the same distance, right? So if we think about this, if I'm at 1, how many steps do I have to take to get to -3? 4, right? Positive or negative? It went back, right? So I went -4. So now I'm at -3, and to keep it the same, I have to go back how many more? -4. So what's -3 minus 4? -7. So that's your x coordinate. All we did is we went the same distance away. So you have to keep it equal.
It's 12 then.
I think you got it the wrong way.
-5.
So this one, how do I go from 7 to 1? 6, positive or negative? Negative. Now how am I going to get to my y? -6 more. So where do I end up? -5. Is that on the bottom somewhere? -7, -5. Does that make sense? Just figure out the difference and go the opposite way. If you're stuck on those, wave me over and I'll help because it's not fair that I didn't go over those in your notes.